What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we have another cities tournament, and this time around we have Murfeesboro cities top 8. This is actually part of the Tennessee Marathon. Actually only recorded the top 8, top 4, and the finals of each days, but still, that is 6 days of a top 8, top 4, and the finals, so get to watch, what, 6, so 18 videos of this, and I think that's enough. But on the left, we have Keith Williams. He's actually from the Nashville area. Murfreesboro is part of the Nashville area. And on the right, we actually have myself. And I know I'm playing the Manectric bats list that I actually did a main deck Monday on. And here we are setting up. Keith takes 2 mulligans. And let's see what happens. There's a handshake. And it looks like I'm starting first. I have a Manectric. And Keith has a Reshiram with the Turbo Blaze, a Rayquaza, and a Hydreigon EX. Now we see that turn 1, I get the head ring on the Rayquaza, I get an Ultra Ball, discarding a Shaman and a Crobat, and I imagine I'm going to get a Zubat here. And I actually attach a Flash Energy to the Manectric EX as well. We see a Zubat coming down from my side of the field, and we don't know what Keith is playing. Like right now, it's a Reshiram, Hydreigon, and Rayquaza. So I'm assuming it's going to be a Dragon Rayquaza, which needs like 4 energies to attack, and with this it needs 5 energies. We see a Shaman come down, we see an Ultra Ball discarding double Manectric, we see another Zubat coming down as well, and we see a Trainer's Mail. Haven't played a supporter card yet, and let's see what we get. A Super Scoop Up, and Super Scoop Up could be used to pick up Shaman, and maybe reuse it, and then we see a Shaman coming down, drawing I think 4 more cards, okay. And there's a super... we're just see what's in their hand. Let's see what happens. I see a Sycamore. And actually just passed for a turn. Alright, on to Keith's turn. We see a Trainer's Mail. It doesn't really look like he had anything. He could have grabbed... I think his only options were a Verse Seeker and a Mega Turbo, which both those cards are pretty much useless. And here we see a Burst from Keith. Alright, let's see what Keith gets. And also, Keith has a really nice playmat. I like that Dragon Ball Z playmat. It's from the Saiyan Saga. If I remember correctly, it looks like it has the bad guys on it. I don't know. Alright, but it looks like we saw a Tails, maybe? I didn't see. It looks like it was Tails. It didn't seem like he drew that many cards. We see Trainer's Mail. Once again, not getting anything. We see a double Dragon Energy going down to Hydreigon, and a pass, and on to my turn. My turn, we get a Golbat down, put 20 onto their Rayquaza. We see a Super Scoop Up come into play, and looks like it was a Tails, okay. And let's see what I decide to go for. I have a Sycamore. I'm not really sure what I discarded there. That was a really big hand. I'm not really sure what was all in there. And we get a Lightning Energy on Manectric. Oh, we actually put a Flash Energy on it. We see a Trainer's Mail. Gonna look at top 4 cards of our deck. And let's see what we decide to get. A Muscle Band. Alrighty. And let's see what the Muscle Band does. We can put on the active, and Assault Laser would do 80. Or we can overrun doing 20 and 20. And let's see what I decide to go with. And, it looks like it went to an overrun, so I'll put 20 on the 40 on the active and 20 to the Hydreigon. And we see a Sycamore from Keith, discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. Alright, I pick up Hydreigon, just look at it. Just make sure what it does. And let's see what Keith does here. We see a Giratina coming down. He does have the Fire Energy in his hand. Fire Energy goes down, and there we see a Skyfield coming down, which now gives the Reshiram free retreat. And we see a Hydreigon. Looks like it does... how much damage is that? 680 damage. Okay, so it does 80 damage. Our turn, we get a Love Ball to get a Golbat, put 20 on the active, bring it down to 140 HP. They receive Head Ringer. And now we get Assault Laser for a knockout. Yep, we could do Assault Laser for 120, and then with the Muscle Band 140, and that will knock it out. We see a Verse Seeker for Sycamore, discarding her hand. Looks like we discarded the Lysander and a Lightning Energy, getting 7 new cards. We see a Crobat coming down. Let's see where the Crobat goes. 30 onto the Rayquaza EX, and I think I accidentally evolved the wrong Rayquaza. Either way, we know we had a Golbat down during the turn. We already had a Golbat down. Just 30 damage going down to Rayquaza. We see a Hoopa coming down. We see a Shaman and Rayquaza. And another Hydreigon coming down as well onto Keith's side of the field. He does have that Skyfield, making it where he can have up to 8 bench Pokemon. And they receive, see a Reshiram and a Shaman, drawing 5 more cards. And as you see in Keith's hand, he actually has a colorless Rayquaza. I thought he was playing the Dragon Ray, but it turns out he is playing the colorless Ray and not the Dragon one. Here we see another Shaman from Keith, okay. And we see, I imagine that was a Turbo Blaze being attached to the Rayquaza and not the attachment for the turn. We see another Shaman, drawing 4 more cards. Okay. And we see that Keith has a Mega Turbo, and he has no Link yet either, which is pretty crazy. That's what he really needs. And he might have to use Burst Ticket for a Birch. He really doesn't want to Sycamore all this stuff away in his hand. Let's see. Oh, no, he just goes for Sycamore, discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. We see Keith does have the Rayquaza now, and he also has a DCE, and let's see, there's a DCE being attached. And Spirit Link. Oh, he does have a Spirit Link as well. Okay, that's not a Mega Rayquaza. Alright, on to our turn. Alright, let's see what happens. Do we get the Crobat down? We see a Zubat coming down. If we can Crobat Lysander the Rayquaza, we could take a knockout this turn. I think it has 170 HP. I'm not 100% sure. We see a skill dive going down to the Hoopa, putting 30 HP. We see a Versiga for a Lysander. We might Lysander up the Rayquaza. I guess the Rayquaza must have 180 HP. I'm not really sure why I didn't go for the one with the DC and Fire Energy. I don't know. We see Assault Laser knocking out the other Rayquaza, taking 2 prize cards, and we're down to 2 prize cards. Keith hasn't really done anything this game. He's been not on the best, I guess, draw. We see a Mega Rayquaza finally coming down, though. We see a Reshiram coming down as well. I think that's what it is. Oh, yeah, another Reshiram on top of the Reshiram. Here we see a retreat into the Mega Rayquaza, and we're going to see an Emerald Break knocking us out. Now on our turn, we send up the Crobat with the Lightning Energy. We could Skill Dive the Hoopa. We see a Super Scoop Up, and let's see what happens. Oh, heads. Pick up the Crobat. Golbat put 20 on the Hoopa. And we see Assault Vest coming down as well. It doesn't really matter. Rayquaza EX knocks us out regardless. We see a Judge. Going to put both players at 4 cards. And as you see, I'm going to try to knock out this Hoopa. Some people might be saying, you know, why didn't you go after the Shamans instead? Well, if we got a Lysander, we could Lysander up the Hoopa and take a knockout quicker. That way, we steal Skill Die for 30 onto the Hoopa, bring it up to 80. So I think it has maybe 100 HP left, maybe less than that. Let's see what happens. We see a Fire Energy be attached to Giratina. And let's see. Okay, we see an Emerald Break for the knockout. We'll send up Golbat onto our turn. We get a Super Scoop Up, Tails. We get a Manectric and a Sycamore. Discard your hand, draw 7 new cards. And as you see, I don't put down the Silent Lab because I don't want the damage to be picked up away from the Hoopa. We see an Ultra Ball discarding Assault Vest and a Muscle Band. Getting a Crobat. Going to put the Hoopa at 130 HP. And now at this point, if we had put the damage on Shaman, we would have won the game already. We see a Lightning Ninja, got a Crobat, and we're going to hit that Hoopa, bring it up to 160. And next turn we can win. The Hoopa should be at 160. And let's see, does Keith have a way to win this turn? I mean, he has to take 3 prize cards. The only way he could kind of disrupt us is basically putting a new stadium down to discard the Hoopa. And Keith's going to look through our discard pile to see what we've all played. And all we have to do next turn is put down a Crobat to win the game. I think we can even just like swoop across for 10 to do 10 damage everywhere. That could be a win as well. There we see an Emerald Break for a knockout. And we're going to put the Flash Energy on Manectric, Overrun, and knock out the Hoopa that way. Alright, so on to Game 2. We saw Game 1. Keith really didn't get set up at all. He kind of, I don't know, had a very slow start. Didn't start Emerald Breaking until like turn 100. And, I mean, if Keith gets like a turn 2 Emerald Break, I don't know how he can handle it. If he could just constantly license our Manectric EXs to take price cards that way, we'll be in really bad shape. We got kind of lucky that game. He didn't really play, and it's not like he didn't play supporter cards. He just didn't hit the right cards at the right time. Didn't really get the Link ever down. He didn't get the Mega Rayquaza down. But still, we're on the top 8, if you don't know, is best 2 out of 3. So we're on to game number 2. And once again, shout out to Keith. That is a really cool mat, the Dragon Ball Z mat. I do like that a lot. And let's see, we're both going to 7 prize cards. And I imagine Keith will go first. And best 2 out of 3. Whoever loses gets to decide to go first. And let's see what happens. It looks like a mulligan. Yep, see a mulligan there. Nothing too fancy. Nothing that Keith hasn't seen. I think we revealed all of our secrets in the last game. We showed the Assault Vest. We showed a Silent Lab. We didn't put the Silent Lab down, but we did discard it. So Keith does know we played that. If he was, he did look through our discard pile, so he does know we're playing the Silent Lab. All right, so we're setting up once again, getting 7 cards. Do we get into the Pokemon? And we do get somebody. All right, so 6 prize cards, and here goes game number 2. And oh no, we started Shaman EX. That's never good. All right, we see Rayquaza, a Spirit Link, a DCE, a Hydreigon. a Skyfield, an Ultra Ball, discarding a Verse Seeker, and a Birch. And this will probably get out a Shebe, I imagine. Or a Hoopa, and then get the Hydreigon. Oh, Hoopa, get the Rayquaza, Shaman, and a Giratina. Okay. Alright, so very strong Terra 1 from Key so far. We see a Mega Rayquaza, oh my goodness. Okay, so a Mega Rayquaza, Giratina, Rayquaza, and a Shaman drawn up to 6. We see a Reshiram. We see a Retreat with the Hydreigon's ability. And we see the Reshiram coming up to the active spot. And we see a Turbo Blaze putting onto... Oh, wait, okay. When Keith retreated, Hydreigon only makes it where... Hydreigon makes it where it only gives Dragon Pokemon free retreat, and since it's a colorless Pokemon, it doesn't have free retreat anymore, or 2 less energy retreat cost. So we see that, and that's why he couldn't retreat it, and he tried to touch the fire, but he already touched the DC. Okay, so that's what happened. Kind of mistakes, just kind of, you know, us not catching it. We see a Manectric come down with a lightning energy. We see a Headringer going on to the Rayquaza, and we see Sycamore discarding her hand, drawing 7 new cards. Alright, now if we can keep this Manectric alive, we can maybe be in shape because we can knock out the Mega Rayquaza next turn, since it is weak to Lightning, and it does have a tool, so Assault Laser will do 120 and then times 2 for weakness, 240. We see a Love Ball getting out of Zubat. Those are always crucial turn 1. And we see another Zubat coming down. We see a Shebe drawing some cards. And just a pass, alright. And we see Keith gets the Lysander, bring up the Manectric EX. We see a Fire Energy going on to Mega Rayquaza, and we're going to see Rayquaza take a knockout. We're going to send up Zubats, and now we're in kind of trouble like I talked about. If Keith can constantly just knock out our Manectric EXs over and over again, and we can't power it up, we're going to be in trouble. We see a Sycamore discarding a Flash, 2 Lightning, and some of the purple Pokemon. We see a Manectric Assault Vest, debating on it. Yeah, we put down the Assault Vest. We see a Super Scoop Up. Head's going to pick up Shaman. Going to put down a Golbat, put 20 onto the Rayquaza with the Link. We'll see a Trainer's Mail for 4. Probably, it doesn't seem like we'll get anything. Oh, Muscle Band. Yeah, that seems fine. We can maybe put that on a Shaman and or a Zubat. Okay, put it on the Shaman. We see a Shebe drawn up to 6. And we do get the Lightning Energy, so put that onto the Manectric EX. And we'll probably just, okay, put down the Manectric EX. Put down a Silent Lab. And Keith discards a Hoopa. And, okay, so on to Keith's turn. Let's see. He'll need... Alright, we see a Retreat from Golbat, send to Zubat, and pass on to Keith's turn. Alright, so let's see what Keith happens. Or what does Keith have? He'll have to have some kind of... a Skyfield and a Lysander to knock out... And a Pokemon to knock out... No, he actually needs a... what is it? So, minus 40. He'll actually need 2 Pokemon, maybe, I don't even know the math. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, he'll need 2 Pokemon on the bench with the Skyfield to actually knock out a Rayquaza, a Manectric EX with Assault Vest. So you see a Assault Vest kind of protecting us just a little bit. We see a Sycamore from Keith discarding his hand, drawing 7 new cards. And he does have the Verse Seeker in his hand, but he did have to discard it because he couldn't knock us out. We see Keith, and let's see what Keith decides to do. He can easily just retreat this Mega Rayquaza if he wants to. It does only have a 1 energy retreat cost. And let's see what Keith uses a Trainer's Mail, and he's going to grab a Verse Seeker. Alrighty. And let's see what Keith... Well, Keith can't play... He's already played a Sport card for turn, so he can't really use it this turn. Let's see what Keith does. We see a switch into the Reshiram. Okay. We see a Turbo Blaze going down to the Giratina. And just a pass. And on to our turn. If we can get an energy... Okay, so there's an Energy, a Judge. Okay, so both puts us at 4 cards. I was going to say, if we had a Golbat and a Lysander, we could Lysander with the Mega Rayquaza, take a knockout on it. But Judge will both put us at 4 cards. Alright. Whoops. Okay, so the Judge actually notices that put down a Silent Lab, and it makes it where Reshiram doesn't work. I actually forgot about it right now. Silent Lab makes it where basic Pokemon abilities don't work, and Reshiram's Turbo Blaze doesn't work. We see a Golbat coming down, put 20 onto the Rayquaza. We see a Super Scoop Up, Tails, and probably just a pass. I mean, I doubt we'll retreat to anybody. And on the Keith's turn, I know this is gonna be funny because there's gonna be another misplay coming up soon too as well. Both me and Keith miss it. It's kind of funny because it's like really late in the day. We've been playing Pokemon for a really long time. This is day 1 of the marathon, and we both make some silly mistakes, or we both don't catch some simple mistakes. Here we see a Skyfield coming down, which means Keith can use all of his basic Pokemon abilities. We see a attachment for the turn. Retreat into the Reshiram. We see a Trainer's Mail for 4. Getting the Lysander. And, okay. And let's see what happens. Okay, so take a knockout onto our turn. We get a Flash Energy onto Manectric EX. Okay. Not sure what just happened. I don't know. Okay, I guess I must have accidentally sickened before I put the Flash Energy. We see a Silent Lab come down, but we can't put down Silent Lab because Giratina used Chaos Well. Oh, we can't put down the Flash Energy either because of Chaos Well. That's what it was. Okay, sorry. We see Crobat put 30 damage onto the active. We get a Ultra Ball for a Zubat. That's what it was. I accidentally attached a Flash Energy after we've been Chaos Willed. And there we see an Assault Laser doing 60. And on the Keith's turn. Alright. So let's see, how much damage does Giratina do? I don't even know. It does minus 40 for Assault Vest. We see a Fire Energy be attached to Hydreigon. It does have the Lysander in hand. Another Hydreigon comes down. Another Reshiram comes down because of the Skyfield. And we see a Shebe, maybe? Yeah, Shebe going to drop to 6. Now, Keith could just retreat this Giratina into the Mega Rayquaza and take a knockout that way. It does have free retreat thanks to the Hydreigon EX. We see a Lysander bringing up the Zubats. And we see a knockout. Oops, sorry about that. There's a Twitter notification. Alright, we see Crobat come to the active spot. And, I mean, Keith only has 2 prize cards left. We're pretty much in a bad situation. I don't know how we can win. We see a Giovanni Scheme to drop to 5. And, I mean, if Keith has a Verse Seeker, he can just win next turn. He can retreat, attack with Mega Rayquaza, and you see right here, I had to scoop the game, like, alright, there's no way you can win this game, or I can win this game, so we're going to game number 3, and hopefully this game we don't make any mistakes. Hopefully, the judge did catch the Silent Lab, which is great. I think he actually caught the Flash Energy as well, and that was just me, us not catching it, just forgetting what cards do. Like I said, it is pretty late in the game, or late in the day. We haven't played Pokemon all day. This is, like I said before, the first day of the Tennessee Marathon, so maybe there shouldn't be that much excuses, but mistakes do happen, but that's why there is Judge watching. Both of us made some mistakes, but it's okay. I don't think either one of us caught it, though, when it happened. I think we just kind of, the judge was like, no, you can't do that, and me and Keith like, oh yeah, we can't do that. That's great. Alright, but game number 3, this is game number 3. Game number 1, Keith didn't get really things set up. Game number 2, he got set up and pretty much destroyed us, having those Verse Seekers for Lysander with the Manectric every time he could, or every time he, had the chance, he always did. And here we go, game number 3, I'm going to go first. And we see that Keith starts with a Zubat. My turn, I get an Ultra Ball, discarding a Headringer and a Lightning Energy, getting out a Manectric EX. Alrighty. And if we can get this Manectric EX powered up turn 2, we should be okay. We see a Headringer going out of Shaman, and Shaman drawing some more cards. And we see a Lightning Energy going to Manectric EX. We see an Ultra Ball discarding a Shaman and a Crobat. Probably getting out another Zubats. So we're getting set up here. Pretty great so far right now. Getting out 2 Zubats, a Manectric, another Shaman drawn up to 6. And you can see how consistent this deck is. Like turn 1, we put down 2 Shamans, 2 Zubats, 2 Manectrics, and energy on Manectric. We have a Super Scoop Up. Do we play it or not? It's the big question. Let's see. I think I just hold it. I think I'll hold it. Hopefully I just hold it. Nope, Super Scoop Up, and let's see. Not really sure what I'm trying to pick up. I guess a Shaman. Yep, so I'll pick up a Shaman. Ultra Ball, discarding a Manectric and a Crobat. This might get down a 3rd Zubat. Or maybe just get nothing. Okay, so I get nothing. Alright. Maybe there's 2 Zubats prize. Shaman drawing some more cards, or maybe I just wanted the Shaman draw more cards. We see an Assault Vest going on Manectric EX. And I think after like game 2, I realized how important Assault Vest was in this matchup, because it makes it where Mega Rayquaza can't knock us out very easily. We see an Ultra Ball from Keith. Alright. He did have the option to get Sycamore, but I guess he doesn't want to discard so many cards in his hand. We see an Ultra Ball discarding a Mega Turbo and a Fire Energy. And I imagine Keith will go for Hoopa, getting Hydreigon, Rayquaza, and let's see what else. And another Rayquaza. So Keith's having a great turn 1 so far. And I know he has the other Shaman in his hand. There's a Spirit Link, a DCE, Shaman drawn up to 6. Alright. So 6 cards. It doesn't seem like Keith has a supporter card in his hand, though. That might be the only downside right now. I didn't play the supporter card last turn either. I think I have one in hand, but I don't think I opted not to use it. And we just see a pass from Keith. And on our turn, we get a goal bat, put 20 damage on the Manectric. We see a Flash Energy. And do we have a license to bring up that the Rayquaza EX? We see a Super Scoop Up. We could use it to pick up a Crobat and or a Shaman, or Golbat and or Shaman, and Super Scoop Up. Take number 2. It looks like it was a Tails. And here we see a Sycamore, discarding your hand, draw 7 new cards. I did have the Life in her hand, so we could have brought the Manectric EX. We see a Love Ball, getting out a Golbat, put 20 damage on the Rayquaza EX, bringing it up to 40 damage on it. We see a Treat into Manectric EX, and we see a Salt Laser, knocking it out, taking 2 price cards. That's kind of a risky play by myself, because now if Keith does have a way to knock us out, we don't have any Pokemon with energies on it. We see a Skyfall coming down from Keith. We see a Reshiram. Another Reshiram coming down, a Fire Attachment for the Rayquaza EX, and he does have a Lysander. Let's see what Keith. Oh, Keith was saying Verse Seeker. He wanted to use his Verse Seeker to get a supporter card out of our discard pile. We see a retreat to Reshiram, and on our turn, we get a Lightning Energy for Manectric EX, and we're going to Verse Seeker for Lysander, bring up the Shaman, and take a knockout on it. And we see Keith just scoop the game. He said, alright, there's no way I'm going to win. If I attack you with Mega Rayquaza, you already have 2 Manectrics ready to go. And that's game number 3. Not very exciting game number 3. Keith didn't really play any supporter cards, and we kind of got set up fairly easily. But hopefully you enjoyed this first day of the City Marathon. Like I said, there is 6 days total of the Cities Marathon. This is only top 8, and this is in Murfeesboro, Tennessee. We have top 4 and then the final, so I do advance on the top 4, and we'll see what happens in top 4. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions, let me know down below in the comments, and I will make sure to check them out and read them. But hopefully you have a great day, and we'll see you in top 4 of the Murfeesboro, Tennessee Marathon.